Hello and welcome to Drunk on Tea. Orc boys don't take to the battlefield in small numbers, so to run an orc army you will have to paint a lot of the green-skinned models. Plus, with orcs being one half of the 11th edition starter set, a lot of people will have a lot of orcs to paint coming up. This week I'm going to show you how to quickly paint orc boys so you can get through a whole army quickly, ready to spread the green tide across the universe of Warhammer 40,000. The first thing I've done is prime the mini black and applied a grey and white undershade to the model as I did with my Warhammer Quest minis. This will allow me to use contrast paints and speed paints to help speed up the painting process. First, with orc flesh, I'm going to paint all of the skin. I'm going to paint all of the face, making sure I avoid painting over any details I don't want to be green, like the teeth and any piercings. I'm not applying the contrast paint too thickly. I'm more applying it over the skin like a glaze. This allows the undershade to show through and really pushes the contrast between the shadows and the highlights, allowing me to paint the skin with just one coat of paint. I'm also painting the arms and any other exposed skin, being careful to only paint the skin and not paint over other details, otherwise they'll need to be tidied up before painting over later. With the skin painted, the most orky feature is complete. Now with Black Templar, I'm going to paint the shirt. I'm making sure I avoid all other details like the straps and the pouches. I'm also catching the boots as well. The Black Templar will give a nice black to these areas while pulling away from the raised areas to give a subtle highlight. And I'm painting the casing to the gun. I'm avoiding the details as I'll paint these later, and it will be really hard to paint over the black, but I'm catching all of the casing with some Black Templar. With the black painted, next I'm going to paint the trousers. For this I'm using Slaughter Red speed paint. I'm painting all over the trousers, letting the speed paint sink into the recesses and add the contrast, while the undershading will give some highlights to the fabric. Speed and contrast paints are great over areas like this, where there's a lot of texture and details, so they are ideal for painting lots of models fast. With the trousers painted, the model is getting that orc look. Now with snakebite leather, I'm catching all of the straps on the model. There are quite a few belts and straps on these models, so make sure you look all over and catch any that you see. This contrast paint gives a nice looking leather effect without being too bright, which is great for orcs. There are areas like this where bullets are connected to the strap. For this, I'm just catching that strap, but leaving the bullets as I'll be painting these later. Don't forget to catch any other details that you want to be leather as well, with a coat of snakebite leather contrast paint. With the leather painted, next I'm painting a few smaller details. With Desolate Brown speed paint, I'm painting these pouches on the model. These could have been painted with the snakebite leather, but to add some variety to the mini, I'm going to paint them with Desolate Brown, which is a kind of olive colour, so we'll make them look like scavenged webbing pouches. I'm also catching this band on the wrist. Once again, leather would have been fine, but this will just add some more interest to the model. With those details painted, next I'm going to paint the teeth. I'm using pallid bone for this, and I'm painting all of the teeth in his mouth, as well as any trophies tied to his arms or any other parts of the model. And I'm also catching his fingernails with pallid bone as well. If you're enjoying the video, please press like. If you want more videos, press the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. And if you'd like to support the channel, please become a member by pressing the join button down below or joining me over on Patreon. With the teeth painted, I'm moving on to the metallics. With Hoplite Gold, I'm painting any of the piercings. As this is an older mini, there are quite a few on him. I'm also carefully catching the belt buckles, just using the tip of my brush so I don't accidentally paint over the belt as well. And I'm catching any of the bullets strapped to various parts of the model with gold too. On the power axe, I'm selecting a few areas that I want to paint gold. The rest of the axe will be painted silver. So we're painting a few details with the gold that will break that silver up a bit and add some interest to the model. With the gold painted, next will be to apply that silver. I'm using broadsword silver for this. I'm catching all of the remaining details on the model, so I'm making sure I catch all of the metal plates that are being used as armour. I'm going to paint over some of these later, but I want them to have a metallic effect to them, so by catching them now with this speed paint, undershading will show through, as well as the metallic effect, which should give a really quick and simple coloured metal effect later on to these areas. I really like this broadsword silver speed paint. The coverage is really good, and it applies nice and smoothly, giving quite a good metal colour in just a single coat. As well as the armour, there are some details on the boots that I'm catching with silver now. I'm also catching all of the areas of the gun that I didn't paint black earlier. And all of the remaining areas of the power axe, being careful around the details that I painted gold earlier, but catching the axe blade and any other details with silver. With the silver painted, you could just leave the model here, but there are a few more layers to add to really finish the Ork look. With Magma Droth Flame, I'm painting this panel on the gun. The metal should show through, giving this a more metallic orangey red look, rather than the pure flat red that would come if I hadn't painted it metal first. I'm also selecting a few armour panels to paint as well, so we'll have that more scrappy appearance to the armour, perfect for an Ork. With those details painted, you can see that slight metallic effect showing through under the contrast paint. And finally, with Iron Jaws Yellow, I'm doing the same to some of the other metal panels on the Ork. You can mix the colours up as you wish, use whatever colours fit the clan of Ork you're painting. I just decided on red and yellow, and paint any of the remaining armour panels. And if you want, you can leave some silver to also add more variation to your models. And with the yellow painted, that is how to quickly and easily paint an Ork for Warhammer 40k. You can add some weathering or damage to these models, but as you will have so many to paint, this scheme works to get them on the tabletop really quickly. Let me know in the comments down below, are you looking forward to Orks returning to a 40k starter set? Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and happy painting.